You think you know Travis Hunter's story? The Heisman Trophy winner who dominated college football and seemed to have it all, until his own teammates may have destroyed everything. What started as the biggest night of his career quickly became the scandal that rocked Colorado football to its core. Because when the person you trust most is the one holding the knife, the betrayal cuts deeper than any tackle ever could. This isn't just about cheating. This is about brotherhood, loyalty, and how one leaked video changed everything. And the person who exposed it all, they might be closer than you think. And real quick, if you like getting the unfiltered side of hip-hop drama, make sure you hit subscribe. You won't want to miss what's next December 14th, 2024. Travis Hunter just made history as the first two-way player to win the Heisman Trophy in over a decade. The cameras caught every tear, every smile, every moment of pure joy as he held college football's most prestigious award. His fiancée Leanna was right there beside him, beaming with pride as the sports world celebrated their golden couple. But within hours, that same celebration would turn into a complete nightmare. Because while Travis was basking in the glory of his achievement, someone was already preparing to drop a bombshell that would overshadow everything he'd worked for. The timing wasn't coincidental, it was calculated. Just as the Heisman buzz reached its peak, explosive allegations started flooding social media. Videos, screenshots, and claims began circulating that would make people question everything they thought they knew about Travis Hunter's perfect life. The evidence was damning. The timing was suspicious. And the source? Well, that's where things get really interesting, because the person who had access to this information wasn't some random internet troll. They were someone much closer to home. Here's where things get messy. Shedeur Sanders, Colorado's star quarterback and Travis's closest teammate, suddenly becomes the center of attention for all the wrong reasons. Now, in the world of college football, there's an unwritten code. Teammates don't air each other's dirty laundry, period. When personal drama hits, you handle it behind closed doors. You protect your brother, and you definitely don't become part of the narrative. But Shedeur broke that code in the most public way possible. Just days after the scandal erupted, he's all over social media defending Travis, telling critics to back off, posting lengthy statements about loyalty and brotherhood. Sounds noble, right? Wrong. Because here's the thing about damage control. The harder you try to put out the fire, the more people start wondering why you have a fire extinguisher in the first place. Think about it. Shedeur didn't just make one comment and move on. He was everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, interviews. Almost like he was trying to convince everyone, including himself, that he had nothing to do with what went down. But teammates who are truly innocent, they usually stay quiet and let the storm pass. They don't insert themselves into the drama unless they're already part of it. And that's exactly what made people suspicious. Why was the quarterback so invested in clearing the air about his teammates' relationship problems? The Colorado locker room started buzzing with whispers that went way beyond the typical gossip. Players were allegedly discussing group chats, leaked conversations, and information that should have stayed private. Sources close to the program claimed that certain players knew about Leanna's past long before it became public knowledge. They knew about the videos, they knew about the allegations, and some of them had been sitting on this information for months. The question everyone was asking wasn't if the teammates knew, it was which one of them finally decided to let it all out. And with Shedeur's overly defensive behavior, all eyes started turning toward Colorado's golden boy quarterback. Because in football, just like in life, the person who protests their innocence the loudest is usually the one with the most to hide. The footage that destroyed Travis Hunter's perfect world wasn't some grainy, questionable clip that could be explained away. This was crystal clear, high-definition evidence that left absolutely nothing to interpretation. Multiple videos surfaced simultaneously, showing Leanna in compromising situations with different men at various parties and events. We're talking about clips that were so explicit and undeniable that even her biggest defenders couldn't spin them as innocent. The videos showed her dancing inappropriately, getting way too close with random guys, and behaving in ways that would make any committed relationship look like a complete joke. But here's the kicker. These weren't recent videos that some paparazzi managed to capture. These were old clips, some dating back to 2020 and 2021, which raises the biggest red flag of all. Someone had been holding onto this material for years. Think about that for a second. These videos didn't just magically appear on the internet the day after Travis won the Heisman. Somebody had been sitting on this nuclear content, waiting for the perfect moment to detonate it. The timing was so precise, it felt like a coordinated attack, designed to inflict maximum damage. Right when Travis should have been celebrating the pinnacle of his college career, boom, his personal life explodes all over social media. DJ academics and other influencers didn't just stumble across this content by accident. Someone fed it to them, someone who knew exactly when to strike for maximum impact. But who has access to years-old party footage of a college athlete's girlfriend? Random internet trolls don't typically have archives of private videos from house parties and team gatherings. This kind of material comes from people who were actually there, people who were part of the same circles, people who had reason to document these moments in the first place. We're talking about friends, teammates, or people connected to the Colorado program who had been quietly collecting receipts for years. The fact that multiple videos from different time periods all surfaced within hours of each other screams inside job. This wasn't a leak. This was a calculated destruction campaign carried out by someone with unprecedented access to Travis Hunter's inner circle. And the most terrifying part, whoever orchestrated this knew exactly how to time it for maximum devastation, suggesting they understood Travis's schedule, his priorities, and his vulnerabilities better than almost anyone else in his life. What happened next sent shockwaves through college football that are still reverberating today. Screenshots allegedly from Colorado team group chats started making their way around social media, and the content was absolutely devastating. We're talking about private conversations between teammates discussing Leanna's behavior, sharing inside jokes about Travis being blind to what everyone else could see. And worst of all, some players allegedly knew about these compromising videos months before they went public. The group chat leaks revealed a team that was completely divided on how to handle their star player's toxic relationship situation. On one side, you had the loyal teammates, guys like some of the veteran players who genuinely wanted to protect Travis from the inevitable fallout. These players reportedly tried to approach him privately, suggesting he needed to have serious conversations with Leanna about her past and her behavior at team events. But here's where it gets really ugly. There was apparently another faction of players who saw Travis's relationship drama as entertainment rather than a crisis. According to the leaked conversation, some teammates were actually sharing videos and screenshots amongst themselves, treating their teammates' personal life like it was some kind of reality TV show they could binge watch. But the most damning revelation was the insider knowledge that only someone extremely close to Travis could have possessed. The leaks showed that certain players knew specific details about Leanna's whereabouts, her social media activity, and even her private conversations with Travis. We're talking about information that goes way beyond casual observation. This was surveillance-level intel that suggested someone in the team had either been monitoring the situation obsessively or had direct access to private communications. Some teammates allegedly knew about Leanna's dating history from before she got with Travis, including details about other athletes she had been involved with at different schools. The most chilling part was the revelation that multiple players had been discussing whether they should intervene or let Travis figure it out on his own. According to the alleged group chat screenshots, some teammates felt guilty about staying silent, while others argued that Travis needed to learn the hard way. But there was a third group, and this is where things get really sinister. Players who seemed almost excited about the potential drama and the inevitable explosion that would follow. These weren't just teammates anymore. They had become spectators in Travis's personal destruction, and some of them were actively rooting for the chaos that would ultimately tear his world apart. The moment rumors about teammate involvement started gaining traction, something truly suspicious happened that made everyone pay attention. Within a matter of hours, both Travis and Leanna's Instagram accounts vanished from the internet completely. Not privatized, not deactivated temporarily, completely delete. This wasn't the behavior of innocent people trying to avoid negativity. This was full-scale digital destruction that screamed panic mode. When public figures nuke their entire social media presence simultaneously, it usually means they're trying to eliminate evidence before investigators or the public can screenshot everything. The timing was so perfectly coordinated that it felt like a crisis management strategy that had been planned in advance. But here's what made the deletion even more damning. People had already started piecing together the digital breadcrumbs that connected the leaked content directly to Colorado team members. Screenshots allegedly showed that some of the most explosive videos and private messages had actually been circulating in team group chats for weeks before they went viral. We're talking about a paper trail that suggested certain players weren't just aware of the controversial content. They were actively sharing it, commenting on it, and possibly even collecting it systematically. The deleted accounts eliminated the possibility of anyone tracing back direct message exchanges between Travis, Liana, and specific teammates who might have had access to compromising information. What really raised red flags was the revelation that some of the private conversations leaked to the media had allegedly been shared within the team first. According to sources close to the program, screenshots of arguments between Travis and Liana, details about their relationship problems, and even intimate personal information had been making rounds in Colorado football circles before hitting mainstream social media. This meant that Travis's most private moments were essentially being broadcast to his own teammates, like some twisted form of locker room entertainment. The messages reportedly showed Travis defending Liana against accusations from people who claimed to have inside knowledge about her behavior, accusations that turned out to be coming from within his own team. The cover-up attempt backfired spectacularly because digital evidence doesn't just disappear when you delete your accounts. Screenshots had already been taken, conversations had been saved, and the internet never forgets. By trying to erase their digital footprints so aggressively, Travis and Liana actually drew more attention to the possibility that there was even more damaging evidence they were trying to hide. The deleted accounts became proof of guilt in the court of public opinion, and the timing suggested that someone with inside knowledge had warned them that even worse revelations were coming. The question everyone was asking wasn't just what they were trying to hide, it was who had given them the heads up that they needed to start covering their tracks immediately. In football, there's a sacred bond that goes deeper than any contract or coaching philosophy. It's called brotherhood. When you step onto that field together, bleed together, and fight for victories together, you're supposed to protect each other at all costs. The locker room isn't just a place where you change clothes. It's a sanctuary where secrets stay buried, personal struggles remain private, and loyalty is never questioned. What your teammate tells you in confidence dies with you. What you see him going through behind closed doors never makes it to the outside world. And if someone tries to hurt your brother, you stand as a united front against the threat. That's the code that every football team lives by, from high school all the way to the NFL. But somebody on the Colorado Buffaloes decided that code meant absolutely nothing. The signs of disloyalty had apparently been building for months, but nobody wanted to acknowledge what was happening right in front of their faces. Sources within the program revealed that certain teammates had been making subtle comments about Travis's relationship during team meetings, throwing shade about Liana's behavior at team events, and creating an atmosphere of tension that went way beyond normal locker room banter. Some players allegedly started distancing themselves from Travis socially, declining invitations to hang out, and forming separate cliques that excluded the team's biggest star. The most telling sign was the way certain teammates would go silent whenever Travis brought up Liana or their future plans together. In a brotherhood, your teammates celebrate your happiness and support your choices. They don't treat your personal life like it's a joke they're all in on except you. But the ultimate betrayal wasn't just about breaking the code of silence. It was about weaponizing intimate knowledge for maximum destruction. Whoever leaked those videos and private conversations didn't just violate Travis's trust. They calculated exactly how to inflict the most damage at the most devastating moment possible. They waited until Travis reached the pinnacle of his career, the moment when he should have been untouchable. And then they pulled the trigger on information they had been hoarding for months or even years. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment decision or an accident. This was premeditated sabotage carried out by someone who knew Travis's vulnerabilities better than almost anyone else in the world. The broken code of silence sent shockwaves through college football because it exposed how fragile team unity really is when jealousy and resentment start festering beneath the surface. Other programs started questioning their own locker room dynamics, wondering if they had players who were secretly documenting their teammates' personal lives, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. The Colorado situation became a cautionary tale about what happens when brotherhood becomes a facade, when teammates become enemies, and when the people you trust most are actually the ones planning your downfall. The scariest part wasn't just that someone betrayed Travis. It was that they had been planning this betrayal for so long that they had turned his greatest achievement into the backdrop for his personal destruction. the timeline of events tells a story that's far more sinister than anyone initially realized. According to multiple sources within the Colorado program, key teammates knew about Leanna's controversial past as early as spring 2024, a full 8 months before the public found out. We're not talking about vague rumors or hearsay. Specific players allegedly had access to the exact same videos and screenshots that would later destroy Travis's reputation. They watched him defend his relationship in team meetings, saw him planning his future with Leanna, and said absolutely nothing while sitting on information that could have saved him from public humiliation. The question isn't whether his teammates knew. It's why they chose to stay silent for so long, only to let everything explode at the worst possible moment. The connection between team drama and media leaks becomes even more suspicious when you examine how the information reached influencers like DJ Academics. These content creators didn't just stumble across random footage on the internet. Someone fed them a carefully curated package of evidence with specific instructions on timing and presentation. The leaks followed a pattern that suggested inside knowledge of Travis's schedule, his media appearances, and his emotional state. Whoever orchestrated this knew exactly when he would be most vulnerable and least able to defend himself effectively. The fact that multiple media outlets received the same content simultaneously points to a coordinated effort that required planning, resources, and intimate knowledge of how to maximize damage in the digital age. But here's where this theory takes a truly twisted turn. Some evidence suggests that certain teammates may have actually been trying to protect Travis in their own misguided way. Anonymous sources claimed that a few players had attempted to approach Travis privately months before the scandal broke, dropping subtle hints about Leanna's behavior and suggesting he should investigate her past more thoroughly. When Travis dismissed their concerns and became defensive, these teammates allegedly felt they had done their duty and washed their hands of the situation. They convinced themselves that staying silent afterward was respecting his choice, even though they knew he was heading toward disaster. The most chilling possibility is that this wasn't betrayal at all. It was a calculated intervention designed to force Travis to confront reality. Some teammates may have genuinely believed that publicly exposing Leanna's behavior was the only way to save their friend from making the biggest mistake of his life. They watched him plan a wedding with someone they considered toxic, saw him defending her against legitimate concerns, and decided that destroying his relationship publicly was better than letting him destroy his life privately. If this theory is true, then the people who leaked the information weren't enemies trying to hurt Travis. They were friends who decided that sometimes you have to burn someone's world down to save them from themselves. The question that haunts this entire situation is whether Travis will ever be able to forgive teammates who may have genuinely thought they were saving him, even if their methods were absolutely devastating. The destruction didn't end with Travis's personal life. It infected the entire Colorado football program like a virus that continues spreading months later. Team chemistry, which had been the foundation of their successful season, completely disintegrated almost overnight. Players who used to joke around together in the locker room now avoid eye contact. The pregame rituals that once brought them together became awkward exercises in forced unity. During practice sessions, teammates who suspected each other of being involved in the leak started playing with visible tension, missing assignments, and failing to communicate effectively on the field. The offensive line, which is supposed to protect their star player at all costs, began showing hesitation in crucial moments, almost as if some players were questioning whether Travis deserved their full effort anymore. Travis's trust issues have become the elephant in the room that nobody wants to acknowledge, but everyone can feel. Sources close to the program reveal that he's become paranoid about every conversation, every team meeting, and every social gathering. He reportedly started limiting what he shares with teammates, keeping personal information completely off limits, and even changing his daily routines to avoid predictable interactions. The player who used to be the heart of team bonding activities now shows up, does his job, and leaves without the casual friendships that once defined his college experience. His performance on the field, while still elite, lacks the joy and spontaneity that made him special. Teammates have noticed that he's playing more mechanically, almost like he's protecting himself emotionally, even during games. The coaching staff has been walking on eggshells, trying to manage a locker room divided between players who feel guilty, players who feel justified, and players who just want the drama to disappear. Coach Prine and his staff have reportedly held multiple closed-door meetings, attempting to rebuild trust and unity. But the damage runs too deep for simple team-building exercises to fix. Some players have allegedly requested transfers, not because they want to leave Colorado, but because they can't handle the toxic atmosphere that's developed. The program that was supposed to be building a championship culture has instead become a case study in how personal drama can destroy team chemistry even when the talent level remains elite. Looking toward the future, this scandal has implications that extend far beyond one season or even Travis's college career. NFL scouts and executives are reportedly taking notes on how Travis handles adversity, leadership challenges, and trust issues, qualities that matter just as much as his physical abilities when evaluating potential draft picks. The Colorado program itself faces questions about their ability to maintain the culture that attracted elite recruits in the first place. Future players considering Colorado are now forced to wonder if they can trust their potential teammates, if their personal lives will be weaponized against them, and if the brotherhood they're promised is actually real. The fallout from this situation will likely influence recruiting, team dynamics, and program reputation for years to come. Travis Hunter may have won the Heisman Trophy, but the cost of that achievement continues to grow every single day, affecting not just his life, but the lives of everyone connected to Colorado football.